When I grow up, I'm going to cheat and lie to my friends, to my parents, but most of all, to myself. Eat naked in front of the mirror so you're not tempted to eat too much.
This is only one of the many campaigns that aim to make people aware of eating disorders, since they are a growing problem in the UK, with the rate being the highest in all of Europe.
So no one will suspect anything.
It is estimated that 11 to 13 million people in the UK have psychological issues with food that result in them severely restricting their eating.
Punch yourself in the stomach when you feel hungry.
One of these people is Kate, a 22-year-old student who has been dealing with eating problems and food fears for the past 14 years. The divorce of her parents when she was little affected her so much that she decided to stop eating at the age of 8, and she's been fighting severe eating disorders ever since.
When I was 8 years old and struggling with food, I was put on eating these sort of meal can replacement drinks, and they were meant to make food more easy for me, but it was an awful experience. I hated them and I used to pour them away. I used to really fight against it. I was so scared of food. I was petrified, and going to school was a horrible experience for me as an 8-year-old because I was so severely bullied because of my weight. Everyone would call me skeleton girl. I wasn't allowed to go outside. I wasn't allowed to be in playtime. And when I felt hungry, I felt like I wanted to eat, because you'd get so starving after a few days of not eating that I would punish myself so badly because I thought it was a bad thing to feel hungry. I thought it was something that needed punishment, and I used to punish myself I used to cut my arms, cut my legs. I used to punch my own leg as well, and because I was so weak, I used to just be covered in bruises because I bruised so easily. Hi guys!
Now, help is at hand for students like Kate. She joined a support group set up by the Students' Union. Welfare executive Harriet Rankin knew that there was a need here. Not only did she suffer from an eating disorder, but she also experienced the death of a close friend to anorexia.
You could tell she was very, very ill, and I did try and help her a lot, but she refused help. And a few weeks before she died, she did actually call me and say, I don't know who else to talk to, can you help me? But she still didn't admit that there was anything wrong with her eating. She just said she was feeling a bit low and anxious. But then a few weeks later, the next thing I'd heard, she'd passed away. If she hadn't died from that, she would have died from something else, because her body was so weak that she could have taken a few paracetamol and probably passed away, or she may have even taken her own life if she was feeling that low.
Eating disorders and disordered eating patterns are a widespread problem and have increased over the last 30 years. Many instances of eating disorders are thought to remain undiagnosed because they are unreported, possibly due to shame, secrecy and deniability associated with such conditions. Only 1.1 million people are diagnosed, but this figure could be highly increased by those who don't have an official diagnosis. 20% of people with serious eating disorders die as a result of their illness. With the right treatment, these numbers fall between 2 and 3%. A person with an eating disorder can recover within 5 years if they receive appropriate treatment, but in a lot of cases, the illness will persist throughout life. Psychologist Andrew Hill has been looking at public eating habits for 15 years and explains that 1/3 of those suffering from eating disorders manage to recover with time, but for the rest, it will be a lifetime battle.
People manage it. They manage living at a low wage. They manage living on a very sparse diet, or they learn to cope with their emotions in other ways. But it never actually goes away.
Purely because I want to show people that you're not alone, because anorexia does make us do horrible, disgusting things.
This is one of the many videos that Kate has uploaded to her YouTube channel, where she shares her experiences and aims to help other girls in the same situation. She is very positive about her future and has even built a motivations board to remind her all the things that she wants to achieve.
I see that I can actually gain the things that I want from life and just live happily and be content and not live like a rigid lifestyle. I do see a really positive future, and I see that one day that there will be hopefully a life free of my eating disorder, and I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to that every day.
Kate's biggest hope is to be able to control her eating disorder instead of her eating disorder controlling her life. Alejandra San Pedro, ICS News.